What are the realistic expectations for the Charlotte Hornets this coming season?
Let me take you to a place where we never can be found. On the edge of Carolina where the sun come out of the ground. Don't nobody judge nobody, only broken hearts allowed. Right outside of Savannah, about an hour from the town.
Hello everyone, it's Everything Busted here, back again with another video. And today I wanted to go over the expectations for the Charlotte Hornets. And before we get into it, please leave a like, subscribe, share the video with a friend. You already know the drill. It takes nothing to subscribe to the channel, and if you did, I would extremely appreciate it, as we're on the road to, I think, 200 now. So, yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the video. So, the Charlotte Hornets are coming into this season with a new GM, a first-time head coach in Charles Lee, Lamelo Ball, Mark Williams, both coming off of season-ending injuries, one with a back, one with an ankle, looking to have a bounce-back year and have a healthy season this year. For Lamelo, he finally got those braces taken care of where he's now going to be wearing them throughout the season. And hopefully with us firing the training staff and getting new guys into the building, he can have a healthy, productive season. Now, for Lamelo, it's unique because I think Charles Lee is going to do wonders for Lamelo Ball. And already throughout the first two preseason games, you see Lamelo Ball, it didn't feel like he could really get any better, and somehow he has. Somehow he's bought in to defense, something that Charles Lee has been preaching. And am I saying he's going to be Drew Holiday? No. But I also don't like how people put limitations on Lamelo Ball because of the persona that he can't defend, or he doesn't care, or whatever. Look, if Lamelo Ball wants to be the best player in the league, he can be. If he wants to be an elite defender, he can be. You can be a great scorer, which Lamelo Ball is, a great facilitator, and also be a great defender. But you don't have to be, a lockdown guard or anything. But I do think he can get above average because he has the skills in terms of using his hands, getting steals. Even last year, I think it was in the 88th percentile, very high with steal percentage last year. I know it was a very small sample size, but he still was being very active with his hands. Now, you add that with the effort to fight over screens, to go under screens and be able to close out on Brunson and guys like that, being able to play smart defense where you're being aggressive, you're still going for the ball, you're still being physical, but you're not drawing fouls on Jalen Brunson, who's a really good guy who's really able to use angles and really position his body to be able to draw fouls. And we saw Lamelo Ball do very well against him. And even the next game against Terry Rozier was in a blender. Terry Rozier, for most of that game, didn't really have an impact. So for Lamelo, it's just watching the progression, becoming an all-around player as the leader of this team, the leader of this franchise for the next 4 years. That could take his game to the next level and help the Charlotte Hornets build a foundation for winning in the future. It may not be this year. It may not equal out above 500 record, but you also have to build a foundation. Next, let's talk about Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges. So these two guys are in a unique situation. Brandon Miller is coming into year 2, where, in my opinion, he's a clear number 2 option. And for me, it was very important for Miles Bridges to sign that extension and to buy in to his role as a third option. You're not going to get 18 shots a game, 20 shots a game, like every night. That's just not going to happen for you. But in these 2 preseason games, I will say Miles Bridges has played very good defense inside. Right? There was a great contest. I can't remember who it was, but I think it was a wing that was driving the ball, and Miles Bridges went straight up. Great contest, and the guy missed it, and he also grabbed the rebound. Another example, Miles Bridges, and this is more of his effort, great effort. So he's driving to the left. He gets inside. has a little bit of contact. They don't call it. He misses the layup, but he's able to stick with it and get the rebound and put it up for 2. Also showing great effort. So guy missed the ball. The ball is a long rebound and nobody gets to it, but Miles Bridges has the hustle and the ability to follow the ball and get the rebound and give us an extra possession. That's the things that translate into winning. That's what makes teams win, is that extra effort. And so far, through 2 games, I've loved the effort I've seen from him. Brandon Miller hasn't shot great the past 2 games. There's shots where he's coming off of screens, and that's something I want to see, him be able to maneuver the pick and roll. And the more he gains experience with Lamelo Ball, I think that's going to be better in terms of both of them playing off of each other. But he'll come off of a screen, and he'll get an opening, and he's going to take a dribble, and he's going to pull it. Bang. Cash out. I love that stuff. So we're going to see for Brandon Miller, really it's about being consistent on the offensive end and being consistent on the defensive end, because he also can be a two-way player as well. And it's only year 2, so you don't have to go in and be an all-star or whatever, but I do think he's going to be in that conversation if this team is what I think they can be the first half of the season. But out of all of these players, there is one player that I think is the glue that keeps this thing going. We all know LaMelo Ball runs the ship, right? Without him, we're not going anywhere. The guy who plugs the holes, plugs the cannon shots on starboard side, on port side, that allows our ship to best move, to survive, right, is going to be the anchor of this defense. A player that has been, last year probably was our second best player, to be honest, in terms of the impact, in terms of how the difference with him on and off the court was. And that's going to be Mark Williams, guys. Mark Williams is coming off a year where he didn't play a lot. But in the games he did play, he had a good second year. The start of that season was kind of rocky, and he still has some question marks 100%. When he goes up against guys like Mitchell Robinson, when he goes up against stronger, more bulky, more veteran NBA centers in the league, he struggles. But I think him adding on weight, and hopefully he's able to stay healthy. He is battling an injury. Hopefully he's healthy for opening night. He's a guy that a lot of the basis of how I think we're going to do is off him, if he's able to play or not, because I'm not confident having Nick Richards as our starter for most of the season and us expecting to get to where I want us to be. So Mark Williams being healthy is going to be absolutely vital. And in case you're questioning the value of what Mark Williams was, now, if you don't believe me, you can go on and turn on the tape, go watch every game he played, and you can be the judge. But in case I can possibly change your mind, I want to give you a couple of these stats. Mark Williams led the Charlotte Hornets with a plus 10.1 efficiency differential ranking, which ranked in the 92nd percentile of all centers in the NBA last season. That means that from an efficiency team standpoint, with Mark Williams on the court, the Hornets were a plus 10 team. This is one of the best out of all centers in the entire league. All right, let's continue on. Mark Williams also led all starters and players who started the season with the Charlotte Hornets in offensive points per 100 possessions at plus 7.2, ranking in the 95th percentile of all centers in the league. He also led the team in expected win shares at plus 21 when on the court. Led the team in team offensive rebound percentage while on the court, a plus 9.2%, which ranked in the 99th percentile. That means he was the best in the league at impacting his team on the offensive end in terms of rebounding. That's massive. For a team last year that struggled with shooting the ball, Mark Williams was really good at getting offensive boards, getting inside, getting scrappy, getting second opportunities. And you can go back and you can watch the Wizards game. There's a bunch of games last year where he had 10 plus, 12, 15. The Atlanta game, opening night, he dominated Clint Capella, especially in that second half. And that's what Mark Williams was able to do for a lot of games last year. Although he didn't play a lot. But the last statistic I have for you is that Williams also led all starters for the Hornets in opponent points per 100 possession at minus 2.9, and also allowed opponent effective field goal percentage at a minus 1.9%. So defensively, with him on the team, we were outscoring our opponents. These are statistics, but you can also drive away from this with the fact that, okay, Mark Williams and Lamelo Ball on the same team in pick and roll sets had this offense way more efficient. There was a time where Mark Williams was leading the league in field goal percentage as well, and he was averaging 15 points per game. That was a fact at some point, like during the season, for the first 10, 15 games. Mark Williams also, and all this to say is that Mark Williams has the potential to be a really good player. He's going to be the guy that keeps this team on the rails this season, and possibly next year, because newsflash, we have a decision to make in a couple more years. Mark Williams, this year is really important for him. This is a really important season. The Charlotte Hornets passed on Donovan. We passed on Klingon, the best center in this draft by far. He played for UConn, was a great player offensively. There's rumors that he can shoot the three at some point. He's a great defender, all these things. Klingon is a really good player. And you passed on that because you believe, this shows that you believe in the talent of Mark Williams to effectively affect your offense, to effectively affect your defensive output, and to outscore teams. And his giant wingspan, one of the largest in the league, one of the longest in the league, I should say. These things that Mark Williams does is really good, and if he can tap into that, he can be a top 10 center in the league easy. Is he ever going to be an all-star? Probably not, but he can definitely make some all-defensive teams. So, huge year for him. And our season is going to live and die with LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams. And possibly you can add in Miles Bridges to that. But without those guys, the Hornets aren't really going to go anywhere. So all this said, let's talk about the main point. The reason why you guys clicked onto the video. What are the realistic expectations of what this team can do this season? Now, going through the entire schedule, I came to the conclusion that the Charlotte Hornets are looking like around a 36 to 38 win team. And I went for the latter, 38 wins. So putting us at a 38-44 record for the season, a clear play-in team, and possibly an 8th seed somewhere in there. And really this year for me is about building that culture, building winning habits. I really look at Indiana, I look at the Pacers, and I look at the Orlando Magic. Before last season, Orlando drafted Pablo Banchero, and they had a young head coach. Pablo came in and was really good for them. And for most of that year, they struggled. They were bad. They were a bad team. But I started to see things from that squad later into the year, the second half of the season, where they started to rattle off a couple wins and moving up the standings. They didn't make the play-in, but you saw the foundation of what we were able to see this past season, where they were a top 4, top 6 seed in the East. Another example, Indiana. They've continuously been knocking at the door year after year, year after year. And this year, they finally found, they built that culture, they built that experience with each other, and they took that team to the Eastern Conference Finals and beat the New York Knicks in 7. So for me, this year is like that foundation. It's like that foundation. And for that to happen, for you to build that, you guys are going to have to stay healthy. So we're going to have a little bit of luck here. Hopefully that happens. But I am super excited to watch this team. Even if we're not an above 500 record, you can still gain experience of playing competitive basketball, of playing for something meaningful, which is a shot at making the playoffs. And obviously I have other reasons why I don't want us to make the playoffs, because I don't want to lose my first round pick. I don't want the Spurs to take our pick this year in a draft that could be deep, and we could get a solid player somewhere in that lottery. So for those reasons, I think we're going to be good. We're going to be competitive against good teams. I love what we've done with acquiring Josh Green, right? Acquiring Reggie Jackson to be able to flip him for second round picks, right? All those things that we were able to do this offseason. I can't complain. I can't. And we have a young core that's only going to get better with experience. So this is going to be a pivotal year. So for Charlotte Hornets fans, it is not like last year. This isn't last year coming in and literally I didn't see this team really being good. I didn't. Yeah, I put my little cap on and maybe I overblew a little bit of what I said they were going to be able to do. And even healthy, you needed everything to go right, and it just didn't. It just didn't from the start. And the team is built way better this year. So, anyways, this is Everything Bud City here. Leave a like, comment, share the video with a friend. Subscribe to the channel for more Charlotte Hornets content throughout the NBA season. I'm Everything Bud City here. I'm out. Peace, guys.